So trust has got to be the overarching thing. Whoever you're negotiating with, whether it's your potential boss or it's human resources or something like that, there's got to be a trusting relationship. So that's the first thing I would say. And the second thing I'll say is, and we kind of had this phrase as negotiators, no deal is better than a bad deal. Don't take something because you just feel I need it. The third thing I'd say is do your homework, do your research, know what you're worth, know based on your experience, your education, the things the talents that you have, that you're worth X amount of dollars for the job that's being offered to you. And you can find that. You can go on LinkedIn, you can go on, I think it's called Glassdoor. I think it's called Glassdoor. You can go on these sites and look up for your area of the country. Now, you're probably going to get paid more in Boston, Massachusetts than you are in Omaha, Nebraska. So understand where you are, how much experience you have, what your background is, and figure out how much you're worth and understand that. And if you want, if they're not willing to pay for it, I would tell you to walk away. Now, that's easy for me to say. I don't know your situation, but I think that would be absolutely part of it. The other thing that I would suggest, and we used to call this tactical empathy. Help me understand where you're coming from. Not necessarily agree. Like I said, if I'm dealing with a guy who's just murdered 3 people, I'm not going to agree that what he did was right, but I want to understand where you're coming from. So get the other person to tell you as much information as they can. What are they looking for this person to do? What are your resources going to be? Who are you going to be working with? What are the expectations? The more information you can get from the person, the better off you're going to be. And then the last thing I'll say is there was a tactic we had we called it mirroring. I think it's called parroting now, where we would let you talk, tell me these things, and then whatever the last 2 or 3 words you said, or whatever the most important thing you would say, we would say that back to you. So it would be like, oh, so you don't like your mother? And we would say it in a curious voice, and then we would go silent because we don't like silence. So if you're quiet, then the other person feels uncomfortable and they'll talk more. The more they talk, the more information you get. And you can do it. I mean, I've done that with podcast hosts where I would just say it back to them just to see if I could still do it, and things like that. And they have no idea. And then I'd be quiet. And then they start talking again. So it works. It works not just as a hostage negotiator. It absolutely works. And the other thing I would say is be self-deprecating. If you don't like it, if you don't like the offers, I appreciate what you're doing, but I'm not going to be able to take that offer. And then they may counteroffer. I'm sorry, I just can't take that offer. And then they may counteroffer again. No, I can't take that offer. So there's kind of levels that you can kind of go through to get to the same thing, where you get to the point where, no, I'm not taking that. So there's a great book out by a man by the name of Chris Voss. Chris Voss was the FBI's hostage negotiator. He was the guy.
I heard it. I saw some clips. I think, yeah.
Never Split the Difference. Great book. I would recommend that to your audience. It'll teach you how to negotiate. It'll teach you some of the things that I'm talking about now, but it goes much more in depth than I'm able to do at this point.